Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gen Con 2023 and Solforge Fusion World Championship. We are the Shuffle Bus, bringing you live coverage of the event. This is going to be a top 4 match between Nathus, who we just had on for the top 8 match, and the first ever gold deck in Solforge history, Neil, is brought to you by The Weeknd, who's playing on the right here. Coming with us
Is it
with
gold deck?
This is a gold deck.
From what event?
He won enough of the silver events online to make this deck gold with this deck. This is the first ever gold deck. This deck had the buy. This was the only deck that had the buy.
Yeah, he got the buy off the gold.
With this being a gold event, gold decks do receive a first round buy. And so he was able to bring this deck to the table with a buy and make its way all the way to the top 4 tables. We are going to get to see a blue-green monster, as it's been called.
This is a crazy deck. Like this is the kind of deck you look at and just like you're like, eh.
But it has a lot of really, really interesting things going on in it.
Right. It's not like a meh. It's just like a. It has a lot of like power points, but it's just like not something that you see very often, right? Like this is a deck of answers, and that's traditionally like not what has been good in Solforge up to this point.
Some of the things that I think stick out to me on first glance of this deck is obviously both of these decks have Krogus, both of these decks have Mantis, but obviously there's the Forge Seal on the Nathus side, not on the blue side, on the Weeknd side. Weeknd bringing Drix, which is a value engine for sure. And then some of the other things that are pretty interesting on this deck is the stabilizing and suppressing components. There's one stabilizing specimen and a suppressing inventor. There is a Tinkerer, which is a great card to deal with minion generation. There's a lot of minions in this game. Tinkerer is a high value blue card in the meta that exists right now. I'm sure there's going to be some other things on the green side that are going to surprise me. There's obviously the Batterhide.
He's got the Electronet, which is really like step 1 in a blue deck being playable.
Yeah, I think
Electronet.
Electronet's a very powerful card in a world where lots of buffing happens.
It's just a card that is like always free.
Yep.
And it's not like archetype defining. It's not like super powerful or anything. It's just like if I have a blue half and I want to play it, the first thing I look for is an Electronet. So that it's just like exactly the kind of card you want to fill out your blue list. And he does have that one stabilizing. He does have the one suppressing, which is kind of like the two types of archetypes that exist right now are like stabilizing is good against one of them, and suppressing is good against the other.
Right. And that's really the Rumbleheart meta, and also then the Dorkforge Strain Oros meta.
And the suppressing one is kind of good against both, right? Like the Go Big Green decks, the suppressing is not good against, but the stabilizing is, and then obviously there are parts of the Rumble deck that the stabilizing is good against.
A lot of what suppressing does, it hits a break point where a lot of the big green decks are relying on things like Oakfathers or stealth creatures to connect, and by the time you stabilize it or suppress, you can sometimes just suppress it straight up before it gets big. There's windows of opportunity in the game that present themselves.
I think in this match specifically, the suppressing is not going to be
I agree
of high value.
Yeah,
he has like the Necromancer, like that's a good target for it, and I guess like he in the other game we watched, he had the Walkers,
right? But
suppressing a Walker you would do if you had to play a suppressing card, but it's not like. It's like the Walker already did its damage if it's in play, and specifically Nathus' Walker is a necrotic one, so if you suppress it, you're just going to get a 3/3 in its place. But Synapse Tinker is definitely good against, just Tinker, I guess. The Synapse part is okay.
The Batterhide, I think, is meaningful for this matchup as well, though.
It's interesting that he has double refreshing, and he's playing Rosetta, who is my personal favorite Forgeborn and very good. So he's going to have in cycle 2 the enhance on tap to turn those refreshings on.
Right.
And he has a Drix, like that's a way to get your thing, and he's an Inventor as well to get your replace value.
He's actually in a pretty good place, I think, Well, maybe not. Battle Droid's probably actively bad in this matchup where your opponent has the Venerable Walkers. So
The Battle Droid is specifically bad against Walker, yes.
so we just see an
I know he has
immediate,
a lot of other -X.
immediate 1/1 Krogius slam from Nathis here, just getting on plan. We do see the Tinkerer here. This Tinkerer is what's its ability? Synapse Tinkerer? What?
It's an upgrade thing. It's activate, upgrade a card in your hand, discard it.
Okay, so a little bit of upgrade synergy. We saw obviously Nathis take full advantage of that upgrade path in his top 8 match. He's going to the Specimen.
That's his stabilizing card.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
And level 1 Specimen, especially this early in the cycle, kind of sucks.
Right. And saw Basher go by.
Right. So what happened there was Nate played a random guy, and it got Forge Sealed to death off the Death Touch.
Right.
So now we're left with just the Tinker in play. But a tiny advantage to Nate here, because he's getting his second Synapse activation.
Right, which is bringing Krogius up. So he doesn't have to play the Krogius as a card action here, which is something.
That's the dream, right? Is that you don't have to play the 1/1.
Right, or potentially later even the 2/2, right? Like, or the 015.
Right,
egg.
you don't want to have to play the egg, but you will.
There is a Gizmo comes down from Warmonger mod here, I believe.
Yep. So he's getting his
free engines online.
That's kind of an unfortunate draw, I guess. When you have the Synapse guy out and you draw Krogius and Warmonger mod in the same hand, because those are both cards that you would be happy to Synapse.
Right.
But obviously, once you hit the level 1 Warmonger mod, once you get that out, all the other ones are insane.
Right. So now we've got the dead cards out of Weekend's deck here, right out of this gold deck. Yeah. So.
God, Alex is coming in here and just getting in the way.
Fantastic top 4 action with
showing off the foil
prizes. Yeah.
Shout out to Alex.
Yes.
Oh, and Weekend's just showing him off like
it's all art. It's everything, dude. Like it's sweet.
Yep. Shout out to Alex and all of the Stoneblade crew.
The Stoneblade crew has been fantastic here today on this event.
It has been well run. It has been smooth. Everybody's having a great time. It's can't say too much about what they've been doing.
You know, it's so difficult, right? Because as content creators, we love to make content.
Do we?
Yeah. Well.
Oh.
Man, I do. I don't know about you. I can't speak for you, but I also highly desire to play in events like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's such a dichotomy of like what was more important. It was really tough. Like, but
so he's got a couple zombies there. I don't know what it came from, but
Circe's
Call. Yep. Okay. Because
the Warmonger mod helped out.
Warmonger mod buffing the Circe's Call one.
Yep. Didn't see Circe's from Nathis in the last round.
Yeah, always feels good when you get an extra zombie off your opponent in Circe's Call.
And we come into the Drix.
So that's kind of cute. He, obviously the Drix is good here because Drix is always good, but he upgrades that Gizmo in the middle lane from getting caught by the zombie to catching the zombie.
So we will get a Botanimated Drix here.
Yep, got to get that Drix out of there.
Yeah, second activation of Drix is value town.
First activation of Drix is value town, but if you get to untap with it, it's crazy.
Yep.
He unfortunately drew it on his Forge. You know, you usually want it.
That's how I always draw my Drixes.
Your second card on off Forge.
I never draw my Drixes off Forge, man. I always draw my Drixes on Forge. See another zombie come in, so...
It's from his Raswell after the Botanimate there. Free when you gain life.
Yep.
Tinker down. So, small board advantage to Nathis after that turn.
Yep. Watching Mantis and Drone go by, it looks like. Is that a drone? No, that's Electronet. That's the Electronet.
Electronet, is a great underdrop as well as a great card to upgrade. I'm not sure that Electronet is super good against Nathis. he did play a couple pump spells in the previous round, but they're like his plan B or plan C. They're not like on the list of cards he wants to be playing.
There is that corrupt drone.
Yep.
Getting that free upgrade.
That card's just cool.
It is awesome, isn't it? We all should have corrupt drones in our life, Neil.
Yes, let's devalue Nats' corrupt drone by all owning them. That's the guy I want to be.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying from a cool like card play factor. Obviously, I don't want to devalue his deck, but
okay.
I don't.
No, it is a sweet one. You know,
I just want to play with it. Like it's the kind of thing I like to do in games. Like I love the corrupt modifier.
I really like corrupt. Yeah. I think it's really good. It's not for every deck, but
no. I have it on a.
When it's good, it's very good because it is a pile of stats.
I have it on a Geist.
Okay.
And
that guy's kind of
Banshee. I have it on Banshee.
That's okay.
And it's actually pretty good because it's sort of like it sort of has the possibility of equaling the life loss. Like, and you get a big stats guy, but I digress. So
there's just like a couple versions of it, right? Like, like drone is like the best one because it has a random synergy with the deploy effect.
What do we get here? This is I can never tell these blue cards. They all kind of look the same from a distance. Is that the researcher?
No, that's the suppressing inventor.
Inventor, okay.
So he suppressed the
drone.
The drone there, and inventor makes a gizmo.
Yep.
That card's a pile of value. I'll tell you what.
The suppressing inventor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously suppressing is great, but inventor is also a very good card.
I'm excited to see a blue deck in the top cut here as we get into this. You know, because the general consensus within the community, we heard it here today, even in between rounds, like blue's just not quite there. It needs some assists. All those things are still true, but that doesn't mean they can't compete, right?
Right, because these decks are not hand picked, right? Because you still have to play according to the RNG table on your collection.
There's Mantis coming down.
A high rolled blue deck obviously is still high rolled,
and he's going to snipe down the 2/2 gadget gizmo.
Yep. So he just activates the Mantis to use the.
Obviously, you don't want to give your opponent a big replace energy there if you're worried about that. So it's certainly an opportunity. So we do see the Batterhide come in here.
Yep, and this is the refreshing Batterhide, so he did want to replace with it.
Yep. Makes an 8/7. He's going to sink back that 3/2 zombie so his inventor gets to stick around, gain some life, and move on with his day.
Because refreshing is like the opposite of corrupt, right? Where in corrupt you're like paying your life to gain value. Refreshing is you're giving up value to gain life. Like it gains a lot of life.
It does, yeah.
It's 6 at level 1, 8 at level 2, 13 at level 3. All right, so going into cycle 2 here, we see a very even board state. Obviously, the Batterhide is a little higher value than that, like what's left over of that zombie over there, but it's really close. And with both these decks being very slow and very powerful, it's really hard to tell where anyone's going to be going forward here.
Okay, so
yeah, just looking good. Just very even match so far going into cycle 2 here. The Rosetta actually has Inspire at cycle 3.
Yep.
So she has the Oro cycle 3 ability, which is Bark Skin. And that's one that's okay. It's not like crazy. But in a game like this that's so grindy, and there's actually a lot of creature combat happening, like pressing a button to auto win 2 combats is
usually pretty good.
Probably impactful. Because Nathas's deck doesn't actually have a lot of removal spells. The removal spells that he plays are the Use Your Forgemorn Again cards that have the Circe removal spells on them. Which are good, but his deck just doesn't have. It doesn't have like a Dreadbolt. It doesn't have like a Necrovive or whatever.
Right.
Spirit Leash, something like that.
And we've seen this in blue-green pairings where like they don't have a lot of hard removal options.
Well, the blue-green definitely does. Normally the green-purple would, but this version kind of doesn't.
Right.
But
just in general, you don't see like the direct removal spells that you would normally find in purple.
Well, yeah.
decks.
And this deck specifically, like the blue-green one you're talking about, has none.
Right, so it's living just on stabilizing and suppressing.
It's just the suppressor is like the only the kill spell, and Tinker kind of.
Yeah,
but
so it is really trying to out advantage you on board presence.
Right, it's just trying to make its value plays with things like Drix or just by having bigger men than you.
Yep. They're trying to figure out upgrades. It's really easy to do.
It looks like they figured it out. So, got a nice little off-camera face palm from Weekend there when he realized he was missing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad these guys are having such a great time. Like they laughing, having fun, and just. It's nice to see the community. The community's great,
Right.
We've been here all day, and it's just been a hell of a lot of fun.
I mean, honestly, like that's probably the best part I love about being part of these smaller card game communities, right? Is that the people that are involved make it so great, right? Like, well, and even at the highest level of competition, World Championships, you've got 2 guys sitting across from the table from each other, laughing and having a good time. They're not. Obviously, it's a high-stress situation, and they want to win, but they're still enjoying their time doing it. Level 2 Drix.
I love it when Drix comes into play tapped. You're just
this isn't even a question.
Give me my gizmo.
Right. Yep.
Well, there's 2 ways to play Drix, right? One of them is this, where you just make the guy right away, and the other is the like, and it's just a gambler's mindset, right? Like. So here we're saying he thinks that if Nathas has a removal spell, it's a removal spell for Drix.
Right.
If you think that your Drix would survive, then you can choose to not make the gizmo because the gizmo might get shot.
Right.
And it's hard to tell. In this matchup, like, the one card I would be worried about is Walker. That's like the one thing that would kill the gizmo but not the Drix.
Right.
Or I guess Polymorpher, because he hasn't played Polymorpher yet this game. So that would be another one.
Polymorpher would be a big problem for him.
But I think that in this case, like, Weekend's doing it right. He wants to use the gizmo this turn. Just get the Drix out there. Play your
make
cards.
Another gizmo off of.
This is a Warmonger mod?
No, what is this? This is a hunter? Refreshing.
That looked like a ranger.
Did he shot Thorn Splicer? What just happened here?
Oh, he activated Rosetta.
Oh, okay.
So he enhanced. So play Gizmo minion, upgrade a card in your hand. So he played a Gizmo. He upgraded the Shroudstone Splicer. Played the Shroudstone Splicer as a card for his turn.
Right. Gets the +4.
Gets the Gizmo trigger. Gets the Drix trigger. Gets the Shroudthorn trigger. Shroudthorn makes it puts it on the other Gizmo. Gets the Drix trigger. Gets the Gizmo trigger. That's putting a lot of stats into play right there.
That is.
And you still like he just put a bunch of stats in play that you need to deal with, but you also still have to deal with Drix.
Right. Like the Drix is still a huge issue for him. Because that Drix is just going to continue to put pressure. We've watched Drix do things that are just not fair.
Right.
And,
Early in the coverage, I was mentioning that Justin Gary said there's 2 cards in the game that are tuned a little too highly, and one of them is Glowhive Siren. The other one is Drix.
Yep.
Drix being held back a little bit by the current state of blue in general, but when he's going off, he's going off. So like right now, he's going off.
Aloyan is just. I mean, when you watch Aloyan just come out of the gates like this, I'm very excited to see Drix succeeding at a tournament level of this caliber. And
is this a Glowhive Siren? Is that what that was?
I think he played another Corrupt Drone.
Corrupt Drone.
Getting the Summoning Council up to speed into his Wrathswell. So that combo is so sweet, man. Like it's so sweet.
Just Wrathswell, all the cards that are free when you gain life are nuts. They're just all super good.
Makes a 6/6 in front of that Oakfather.
Yeah, I mean he wants to draw his either the stabilizing or the suppressing would have been great this turn.
Right.
Suppressing for the Drix and stabilizing for any of the other giant men you just made.
So we're about to see some combat breakdown here, Neil. Mostly Weekend is going to come out on the right end of this combat.
Well, yeah, he made like 35 power of guys that turn.
Yeah, it's true.
Like what?
I mean,
the guy with bigger men.
The Corrupt Drone is still in play.
Is going to beat the dude with smaller men.
You just watch it, all right? You're gonna wake up with a knife in your back tonight.
This is being recorded.
I know.
If that happens, you'll be instantly arrested with evidence.
No, what evidence?
You heard it here, Shuffle Bus Nation.
Uh-huh.
God. Now I know why you took out that life insurance policy. It's been a long day. This is the semifinals of World Championships. I feel like we're not being very professional.
No, we are being professional. Another Mantis coming down here. This will be level 2
This
version,
is a good Mantis because it's like
version.
Just big enough to kill off that
Oakfather. Always going to get the Drix, though. It makes sense. You leave the Oakfather.
Yeah. So that was really good because the Mantis is big enough to kill off that 10-3, and he gets the Drix before the Drix gets another activation. I mean, that Drix got its value already.
Right.
Because it made a gizmo and it triggered twice.
Right.
The level 2 having the replacement trigger.
You were way ahead on like your advantage engine there in general.
But Nathis is still at 50, and
yeah, I mean these two decks have been doing things to the board through these turns and these cycles, but we've not seen a clear edge on the life department emerge from that. There's the Electronet. Just for no free value. Like,
is that Electronet the hard way?
Electronet the hard way.
Wow. All right.
Interesting thing about the Electronet there's Polymorpher to get that Oakfather off the board. Interesting thing about the Electronet there, though, Neil, is that drone just becomes a lane clog. Like, you sort of just tell your opponent, like, play something else into that lane, please. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have to put anything in front of it. Like, I'm just going to play 4-lane Solforge now.
But Weekend gets to do that too, like,
right?
Because it's not a threat at him either. You're probably right. It's just going to sit there and they're going to stare at each other in lane 3 for a little while here. But I mean, Nathis has done a good job of weathering this storm. It has felt like after that last turn there, he made a lot of
there's
guys.
Tinker getting the Wisp, not huge value, but
it's better than not killing a Wisp.
Right. And this is Synapse Tinker,
Synapse
so he
Tinker.
upgrades something.
Yes.
So he's upgrading the Toxic Spores, it looks like.
Right. That's a card I like a lot, actually.
I do
Toxic
too.
Spores. That's a good way to win a combat. So the Tinker, the level 1 and level 2 are activate, upgrade a card in your hand and discard it, and then level 3 is just upgrade a card in your hand.
Right.
So it's like a bad army commander, kind of.
Yeah.
But obviously he's gotten a little bit of Tinker value both times, and he's gonna get another activation of he's gonna get 4 synapses this game so far, which is pretty good. I mean, he's just drawn the Tinker at good times where he gets to play it, activate it, and then activate it and trade it off.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean that's distinct deck quality advantage, which we talked about in the previous match, could have a major impact in the later parts of the game as it draws on. We have seen more upgrading from Weekends in this deck than we have seen from Nathis in this round.
And I think for both of these decks, that's not like plan A. It's just like an aspect that the deck has.
Correct.
Like you're gonna, especially for Nate's deck, like you're gonna play this Synapse Tinker when you draw it and when it's good, and then you're just gonna say, I get to eke out a little bit extra value with the Synapse.
So there is the level 2 Krogus here.
Yep.
So
Egg.
We got Egg Krogus here. Just putting a big defender in the lane, clog things up a little bit.
Interesting that he chose to play it rather than Synapse it, because it was he just activated the Synapse guy, so it was in his hand when he had the opportunity to do so.
Forge Seal drain that Tinker down. I'm sure that's not the ideal Forge Seal there for you, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And this drone is not doing anything.
Well, yeah.
Else, so
looking at the deck, the number of cards that Life Drain hits that Weekend could play is low.
There's suppressing.
He did play one.
There's suppressing to get rid of that drone. Get a little more board advantage with a gizmo, another gizmo here. Not a ton of value on the field. For this stage of the game, you would expect
this game is going to be.
But this is going to be a grind.
I would bet that this game is just going to keep being something like 5-5 smashing into each other, and then whoever has the better Krogius.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Or it's going to go to full go to cycle 4, turn 3.
We certainly saw that, but we have not seen the Necromancer for Nathis here.
A little Bone Scythe Reaper action.
That's right.
That's a card we didn't see last round.
Nope.
Like a Tinker, but worse.
Right.
That's not true. It's probably better than Tinker because it upgrades to past minion.
Yeah. It gets better.
Yep. I mean, that's a good card, I guess. I
do like a Bone Scythe.
I don't know what I thought I was saying. Don't listen to me.
I do like a Bone Scythe Reaver in my purple decks. It's just a good answer card. It's got a reasonable stat line. It's the kind of card that
after level 1, it's always a 2-for-1.
Right.
At level 1, it's mostly a 2-for-1.
Right. Yeah, I do like that card in my purple decks.
It's one you're never unhappy with.
Right. I'm also never unhappy with a Tinker in my blue decks, just to be fair.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
I think that both are very similar. They're different designs, but they're very similar in their evaluation, how you can evaluate them.
Yeah, and Tinker's a little different because it's a Forge, so it can have some crazy stuff.
Right.
But both are good. Neither are archetype defining. They're just a filler that's you're happy to have. So moving on to cycle 3 here. We know Nathis has the life drain, and we know that Rosetta has Inspire to use the Oro Spark Skin.
Yeah, so we're watching. Obviously, there's a distinct board advantage for Weekend here in this particular game state, but it's not big.
Yeah, I mean, this is very even.
Right.
Having a 2/2 and an Oath 15 is not a board state, right?
There is the level 2 Krogus.
Yeah, Egg Battle.
Yep. And this will turn on the Army Commander with the Forge Seal Mantis. The Mantis is upgraded, so you can Army Commander into Krogus here and put pressure on the board. And this could be the way that Nathis breaks this serve and really...
It'll be interesting to see if he draws the Mantis or the Forge Seal, if he's going to, try to aggro Krogius, or if he's going to, try to do it naturally. I think you probably put a Krogius into play if you have the ability.
Well, assuming if he's got level 3 Mantis at all, we're going to see that happen. So here's a Shroud Thorn. Going to make...
Oh, that's cute. now his 0-15 is worth something.
Yeah. Gonna make an 8/8
Yep.
Oakfather here.
Definitely rather have an 8/8 than a 0-15. Can't make any omelets without breaking any eggs.
That's right. Interestingly enough, you don't actually have to replace that. So he could have left the 0-15 in play if he wanted to, but he
Oh, really? The level 3?
Level 3 just plays an Oakfather.
Oh, well. No, you have to replace.
Oh, okay.
Its level 3 upgrade is that it gets big and break through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense to me that he would do it if he didn't have to.
There's
so.
Polymorpher. I'm sure... Man, is this Polymorpher good here?
Kills it. It, like, downgrades an 8/8.
Yeah.
And makes him a 2/2.
Or downgrades a 10/10.
It can't hit the 10/10.
That's true.
Because it's level gated.
That's true.
Why is he...
He just wants to push the wisp back?
That seems weird to me. Maybe
to
I don't
me
know
like
what Polymorpher
really...
does. Hang on. Maybe it only hits a level 1, because then he can't hit the Oakfather with it. Oh, yep. It hits a level 1, so he couldn't hit the Oakfather with it. That's why he hit the Wisp. And it was slightly better to put the Wisp in the back row there. And then he plays a Zras Will. Makes a 6/6. Makes 2 6/6s. It's level 3 Zazrel.
So instantly we watch Nathis fill the board with threats.
That was a big turn.
Yep.
You know, the Wisp isn't worth very much. The Egg isn't worth very much. But he did put a very reasonable amount of threats in play. Like, they're not giants, but they're big enough. And just another instance like we've seen all game where it's just reasonably sized guys battling each other and never actually hitting life total on either side.
And we got our Krogius. First Krogius down.
All right, Krogius number 1.
Krogius? Yeah.
Gotta get that Krogius button.
You just hold it down, it'll go +5, I think. So 24 damage to... Oh, no breakthrough there.
Yep, it's in the back row. But, you know, not having the army commander, he needs to put his Krogius in when he draws it.
We do see lead the charge go by, so that is helpful for the army commander play and the Cycle 4 army commander Krogius we saw last.
Well,
but I don't think we're going to see that happen here.
It's also like that was really sweet. If you guys didn't watch the first round of Top 8, I don't know why you're watching this video, but go back and watch it, because the little cycle of lead the charge was pretty cool. It's just like very unnecessary.
Sure.
In almost every game.
So we've got free Warmonger mod here, making a couple of gizmos. Making a gizmo.
Yeah, the Warmonger mod isn't actually free. It allows you to play a creature for free now.
Right.
But it's essentially, you know, like...
Yeah. Your free action is now you get to play your creature, and you get a gizmo buff off of it. So this is going to be a Mantis into said gizmo.
He's deciding. Let's see.
Yeah.
So this is a level 1 Mantis? Or is it a level 2 Mantis?
I think it's a level 2 Mantis.
So this will be... Yeah, I can't tell because of his sleeves.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether that's a 2 or a 1 Mantis.
It looks like
here.
He put a level 3 Mantis in the discard pile. I guess I can't even tell that.
Yeah, it is a level 3 Mantis in discard,
okay,
so you're right.
So it's a level 2 Mantis because he's
just bark skinning.
Bark skinning some random guys. The Krogius and the 10/10 over there.
Lots of pressure on the board here.
Yeah, he's got a big squad again, you know, but we saw this before, and then like Nathis just made another big squad and they kinda bounce off each other. Though Krogius doesn't bounce off, I guess.
No, Krogius is not a bouncer, Neil.
Yeah.
He's a stompy guy.
Yeah, but like, are we just gonna see a Krogius battle?
It could turn into that.
Just Krogius in the lane, and then both of them are dead.
And then what do? We like continue to watch the grind happen until we go sudden death or we time out. So this is.
So he's chosen to put level 1 Necromancer in under the Krogius gun.
Is he gonna necro his egg?
Well, so this is gonna upgrade a card.
Right, but you have to sack him in to do that, right? No, you just have to activate
this is just activate, upgrade a card.
I'm thinking of Blight Witch, sorry.
Yeah.
Which we have not seen in today's tournament.
There was a Blight Witch.
Oh yeah, Christy had a Blight Witch. That's
right.
What,
there was a Blight Witch in round 1 of the Swiss. There was a Blight Witch in the list, in Gorman's list, I think, from the last round of top 8. He just didn't ever play it.
Weekend in the tank, looking through the discard pile to see what he's up against, thinking through his play lines here. Obviously, critical decision points starting to happen now. Rooting Batterhide. This is very good because it shuts down the Necromancer, I believe.
I mean, I assume you hit the Necromancer. Hitting the zombie doesn't really do anything since it's going to battle the Batterhide anyway.
Right.
But since he didn't activate Necromancer...
Oh, he's going to push the...
He's thinking, yep, there you go. Nope, he has decided to push back the...
All right.
And then he's going to Bark Skin, is that what we're... Yep. Okay, so...
He's gonna give that.
No.
He's gonna give 16 to the Krogius.
This is a very one-sided combat in favor of the weekend with the...
We got one more card from Natha still. So...
Right, it's the 32 armor this turn that, like, it's just like not a fair fight.
No, it's a real problem. The final card here could be critical, but
I mean, Nathas definitely has plays. Okay.
This is the Army Commander play.
So he decided to replace the Krogius egg.
We are going to see the Krogius come in. This is what Army Commander is built to do. Like, this is the Mantis Army Commander.
Is Krogius in his discard pile?
Is, yeah.
Okay.
So we are going to see the big Krogius come in here. And he does have the Necromancer for upgrades, but it does not... He can't just go off right now like we saw in the previous round.
Right, because he has Mantis and not Forge Seal. Forge Seal was like the key to the
Correct.
Like wackiness. But like I said, the lead the charge is not... I mean, I suppose if he had the availability to do it when you're dueling Krogiuses, that's a time that lead the charge thing is important, because that makes your Krogius win the Krogius fight.
Right.
So, in the tank, but he's got a lot of decisions now with the Mantis in play.
I mean, and these are critical decisions. Like, these are make or break decisions to this match.
Because one potential thing is he can Mantis to get back the Necromancer.
And he does.
And then use the Necromancer to play the Krogius. Or whatever.
He's gonna do the combo, but not in the way we had seen it in the past. So he is continuing leading the charge on
the lead the charge works with Necromancer too.
Yes,
that's funny.
And so he's gonna lead the charge this Necro to a point where he takes no damage from Krogius this turn, and that's huge. That's huge. And then he's going to play his final activation to make his own Krogius, which will deal damage. Not right away because he's off Forge.
It'll kill the Shroud Zone and I love the lead the charge nonsense.
It's wild.
I wonder if he does that a lot. Like I haven't had the opportunity to watch his other games. But obviously 2 games in a row we've watch it like go dumb on top 8 match.
So now it's Krogius on Krogius murder action.
Right, and they're both at like 95 and like
yeah. I mean, slight edge to Nathis just because of the health, right? Like it has an impact.
Right. I mean, this is still cycle 3 even. Like
right.
So God. What a game. Like
the thing is I mean I think he gets another Necromancer activation here because
like we need to count how many Krogius attacks happen.
That's a lot.
So far it's 1.
Yeah, it's 2. Oh, no, well, there was
I'm talking about front row Krogius attacks.
Yeah,
not,
so far 1.
Like yeah, we'll keep a tally. Because I bet it's gonna be like 5.
Yeah, it might be.
It
might be. Well, there's definitely gonna be 2 that trigger here.
Right, because you can't kill it.
Yeah.
Like they just sit there until they like eat up a bunch of guys or the opponent dies. Like
it's so true.
Yeah, this is the board state everyone feared.
Yeah,
like when set 1 came out, there. I don't want to play against Krogius. Yeah. Well, too bad. And then we spent all day talking about how we were going to see a bunch of
Rumble Hearts,
which the only reason we didn't see them is because we watched these games instead. They are in the top 8.
That's right. But
it's
very likely we will see a Rumble Heart in the finals with one of these 2 Krogius decks in the finals.
Well, right, it's definitely going to be one of these 2. And then I don't know the result of Mundungu versus Brandon, I think is his name.
Oh, I don't know what Brandon's playing.
Yeah, I don't either.
So
that is a player that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. If you watch this later, Brandon, and I haven't talked to you, like
there's that level 3 Spring Dryad again. How'd it get so big?
Because it just is big.
It's a 2014?
It's a 10 something, and then if you have more than 30 life when you play it, it gets plus 10.
Yeah. With breakthrough, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 10-14 breakthrough deploy if you have 30 or
That's
more.
That's right. Nathis didn't get the extra 10 power last
because he wasn't above.
Because he wasn't above. Yeah.
Gorman had pressured him down. And it still has when you play another one of creatures, you gain 3. Like the other modes.
The quality of Solforge games just gets better and better the deeper we get into this.
Essentially every game we've watched all day has been great.
And there is a polymorpher.
Yep, level 3 polymorpher just polymorphs anything, so kills that
and gains more life because
he gained life off the Spring Dryad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There is a squad of dudes on Nathis' side of the board now.
That's the the 11-9 is like reasonably sized, but doesn't really matter because there's a wisp in front of it. But the double like 20 plus power breakthrough guys is something when you only have 1 card left to play this turn.
Right.
But he's at a ton of life too, so like it's not like this game is going to end.
No. We are at least a couple of turns away from him.
Well, I don't know about a couple. If Weekend misses out on an impact play here and 2 impact plays next turn, it's very likely that the game ends then. But he's got a lot of good cards in his deck, and like stabilizing good is on the
stabilizing would be really good on the Dryad.
Doesn't really do anything to the Krogius.
No, you can't target the Krogius. Why? I don't know.
It wouldn't even like make it that much smaller.
No, there is the stabilizing though.
Okay, so that's very good.
So he's agreeing to take 40 here, while doing 23 to his opponent.
Yep. And
It's a corrupt drone.
level 3 corrupt drone. I don't even know what that thing's stats are. Let's see. It's a 10-15 stealth.
And then he upgrades a card for free and plays it.
Oh, I didn't know it played it for free at this level. That's crazy. Because it's going to get 2 triggers in.
Yeah, so he's going to get this
because
wisp.
the stupid ape in a box, it has defender.
Yep.
So he played. What was his free play?
It was a Bone Scythe Reaver.
Oh, level 3 Bone Scythe. Yeah. Okay.
And crushed the wisp minion out of the way. So staring down the gun here.
Right. He chose to kill the wisp minion so that the 11 is threatening.
He's
because
connecting for 52.
Killing the specimen doesn't do anything because the 10's going through already.
I mean, this is it, right? Like their combat now. There's not. No, there's a card to play still.
Weekend has a card. Yeah, I was wrong before that he had only played. That was his first card, not his second. But I mean, he's in a pickle.
What's this? Bear? No, Torgmai.
Brute Guardian might not do it.
No.
Because I think it's a level 1.
It is level 2.
Okay, yeah, it's level 2. He must have synapsed it or something. I didn't remember seeing it earlier in the game. He doesn't even click up the power.
He's like, it doesn't matter. It's dying. So he takes 23.
Yep.
Takes another 11.
I mean, I've played a reasonable amount of Solforge. I don't know that I've played a game of Solforge where I've had to look at my opponent's lanes filled with gold cards.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen very often, Neil.
Like, not only does he have the full lanes, he has the Exodia of level 3s.
So
but he took a chunk of damage too off the other Krogius.
Right.
But because it's a Krogius race, it doesn't make a lot of difference. And now he's playing a card for free during the combat phase off the Corrupt Drone.
Right.
Which is a Drake, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, he has oh my god. Is it the end of the deck cycle?
Yep.
Did he gets free Abyssal Drake and then the Abyssal triggers?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Wild. Manthus's deck is so crazy, dude.
It's not even necessary, but it is cool.
Yeah. Obviously it ignores Krogius.
He can't choose Krogius?
Yeah, he cannot.
Okay. It doesn't say choose, it just destroy one of their creatures. I don't know. But I mean, I know that the Necrovive doesn't work. It must have the same wording. I think that Weekend has played really well.
Yeah, I think so too.
But this is Moida. This is just mean.
I mean,
we were talking about how much fun everyone was having, and I'm not sure that
Weekend's having such fun any longer.
I mean, he probably is. He really enjoys the game. He's a super nice guy. I don't want to take anything away from that, but this just
this is a wild match.
This is a tough board state to sit across from.
I'm not sure you could. I think this is what we would call unwinnable, Neil. But
that's not true.
It seems really tough.
So he has. It's the Krogius that's a problem, right? So he has to figure out a way, because a bunch of 10-14s or whatever are not that unreasonable at this stage of the game. So he makes double Gizmo off the Rosetta.
Right.
And if he plays Drix right now, okay, he plays
well, that gets him more
Mantis.
It gives him more
Mantis into more Gizmos.
Gizmos.
And these are Mega Gizmos, right? When it's cycle 4? Yeah, 2 Mega Gizmos.
This is a big Mantis.
Right. I mean, see, this is the thing, right? Where it's it's not unwinnable, it's just difficult.
Yeah. But
so he's got a bunch of Mega Gizmos. He's still The issue is kind of like his deck only has Krogius to get damage through right now.
Right. Nathus's does not. Nathus has a few different outs here.
Well, Nathus is ahead just by 30 life or whatever.
Right.
So if all they do is chump block each other a bunch, Nathus is gonna win.
Right.
So that's like a tough situation.
Botanimate here on one of the Mega Gizmos.
But he currently has the
Why is it an 8/8?
because it replaced a Mega Gizmo.
Oh. Yeah, that's
yeah. Botanimate is not a very good answer to Mega Gizmo, but it did stop him from
Warmonger mod here.
Okay. Wait, are we sure it's a Warmonger mod?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Into refreshing Batterhide. You push
So,
the Krogius back.
If he kicks the Krogius,
you can't.
Oh, you can't because it's
so unfair.
The amount of times that I've talked about what Krogius does, and the amount of times I still forget that you just
can't do anything.
Can't do it is dumb.
It's dumb.
I'm a Dumbo.
So he's gonna move the Dryad back, which makes sense here.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's winning combat.
Does the Batterhide have breakthrough?
Does not at cycle 3, I don't think.
Right, it's refreshing. Okay. So he did gain 13 there off the refreshing Battlehide.
Right. He's connecting for 23, so this life gap drops.
Well,
I mean, we get another card from.
He's also getting hit for 12. So it's really the life differential that matters.
There's a Forge Seal.
Okay, something wacky's going to happen now.
Into an Army Commander, into Botanimate on the.
Okay, so this is Botanimate on the giant blocker.
Seals
looks like lethal to me.
Yeah,
and there's a handshake.
Handshake.
Ending in the same fashion as the previous match where the Botanimate on the guy in front of Krogius
just wins the game.
Just lethals him off the breakthrough.
Fantastic match between these two.
This game was really cool.
Yeah.
Great tournament for weekend.
Yep. We got
semifinals
moving
and
into
World
the finals.
Champs is crazy. Nathus moving on to the finals. It looks like it's going to be Mendungu. He's standing over there like he's ready to play.
So we should see the Rumbleheart Krogius showdown here for finals. We'll be right back with finals. Stay tuned.